Right now, a second witness in the Zandile Gumede fraud trial took to the stand today. Court has adjourned yesterday when the first witness fell ill. The former eThekwini mayor and 21 others are facing charges ranging from fraud and corruption to racketeering. It involves a multi-million rand solid waste tender, and senior reporter Dasen Thatiah has been following this case and he joins us now live. Dasen, what's the update for today?
Well, just to touch on what you said in your intro, Maseko, about that first witness, Mbuso Ngobo, you know that he's been testifying for the better part of the past 2 weeks. So we just found out a short while ago, before court adjourned, that in fact he won't be back on Wednesday next week as originally anticipated. In fact, that's the day that he's going to return to the doctor. So it's likely that he may not return at all for the duration of this sitting of the trial, which is expected to end next week, Friday. In fact, court doesn't sit on Monday and Tuesday anyway. So in the interim, the second witness that you mentioned, Sean Hitler is his name. He's a senior manager at the city's Integrity and Investigation Unit. So he's now taken the stand. He's beginning his evidence in chief. And essentially what we've heard up until this point is him detailing the process of how that complaint was received by that department. So this is the complaint that ultimately led to the case that we're talking about now. You'll recall that last week we heard that a bundle of documents was dropped off at that office. And as a result of that, it was processed and a decision was made that the investigation needed to be outsourced to Integrity Forensic Solutions. And that's been what the defense has been picking on so far. They've been questioning why this was handed over. So today we're starting to get a little more insight from Sean Hitler as he unpacks the process. He's now given a little more detail around how those documents were received. He says that attached to those documents was a little post-it document, and what it said was that certain contractors had been irregularly appointed and that there had been services that had not been rendered, although payments had been made. So that was just scribbled onto this little piece of paper that was attached to those documents, and that really was the start of the investigation which ultimately led to the case that we are seeing now.
Previously, there was a matter that was dealt with internally by one of our senior managers. And during the course of that investigation, there were threats that had come through pertaining to that matter. And in reviewing this matter here, one had also established that a person mentioned in the report that was dealt with internally is also within this matter itself that was reported.
Sorry, just a moment. You said a person mentioned in the report internally.
The initial investigation that was dealt with internally?
Yes.
Yes.
So you said in reviewing this matter, a person mentioned in the report internally. That's what I'm just trying to clarify.
To give you clarity, my lady, what would have happened is that the internal investigation was done pertaining to a company. However, the director of that company, it was established that it's also a director within the company, one of the companies that is mentioned in the current matter.
And Dasen, with so many accused on the stand, I just wonder how many witnesses are on the state's list and how long this case has been set down for.
Oh, Maseko, the initial number is 112. That's how many witnesses we are expected to see. The state mentioned that in its opening address, but it's likely that it could be fewer or it could be more depending on how the case progresses. But remember, this case is nowhere near wrapping up, not this year, possibly not even next year. If you look at each of those witnesses and the fact that they have to start with their evidence and they are cross-examined by a number of different legal representatives, it could take a while. If Mbuso Ngobo had not fallen ill, his cross-examination would have still been continuing now and likely would have continued into next week. And speaking of cross-examinations, that's actually what just started before we went on a break. Advocate Jay Naidu had just started his questioning and is now asking the witness to describe more in detail about the information that was attached to that bundle of documents.
It looks like it's going to be a very long case. And Zandile Gumede, the former mayor of eThekwini, Dasen, how has her demeanor been? She's been asking for this trial to just start already.
That's right, and in fact, if you, in all our interactions with her and the other accused, all of them seem to be upbeat. Both her and her supporters that have been here, one or two of them, have said that they are happy that the case has started. It's finally an opportunity for them to present their side of the story. So, by all accounts, everyone that we've interacted with or we've seen here over the past 2 weeks has really been in good spirits, laughs and smiles and chats during the break. So certainly it would seem that they have been waiting for this day to come, as they've been telling us all along.
And just lastly, Dasen, just for the benefit of the viewers, every time you play a snippet of what's been happening in court, we just get to hear the voice of the witness but not necessarily see them. Just to explain to the viewer, this, I assume, would be to protect these witnesses?
So there was an order that was granted, Masego, allowing cameras in, and we do have our equipment in the court, but there was also a caveat, and there was a letter that was issued to us from the judge through the Office of the Chief Justice, and essentially it says that in certain cases with certain witnesses we would not be allowed to broadcast the picture. Instead, all we would have is the audio, and so far that has been what we've been able to bring to our viewers, hence the static picture while we hear the exchange between the defense attorneys and the witnesses on the stand at the moment.
All right, so senior reporter Dasen Thatiah live for us in Durban. Thank you. Let's leave it there for now.